Hi, everybody. Welcome back. If you don't know, my name is Cooper, and today we're going to be talking about how to style decor in your home without making it feel cluttered. This is something that I often see people struggling with, and even now, I still have a hard time with this on occasion. So, I wanted to give you guys my 2 cents on how I go about styling my decor in a way that feels a little bit more cohesive, because I am somebody who really loves knickknacks. Obviously, I don't love knickknacks to the extent a maximalist does, but I like sentimental items. I like little cute objects, whatever. I'm a human being. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is anchoring your space. When I say space here, I mean like your shelf that you're trying to, organize with decor, or your coffee table, or, whatever. You want to start every little vignette in your home with a very strong anchor. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a lot of objects, but making sure that you're intentional about what you do have out. And you want to start by anchoring your vignette with a item that you really love or you really care about and that you want to stand out. So for example, take an entryway console table. Picture this. You have a large ceramic lamp on the top shelf with books and, little trinkets. And so the anchor for this would be, the large ceramic lamp. It's what your eye is immediately drawn to. And this kind of creates an option for, variants of scale and texture in your vignette that'll make it feel visually cohesive and even. Another thing I want to mention here is that making sure not everything is the same size. You can have a general theme, but not everything needs to be the same size item or else it'll look a little bit too linear. So you want to find things of varying heights, mix it up to create a more visually interesting space. So for example, take my coffee table, right? If you look at it, there's like a couple things. You see my plants, some books, and you see my candlesticks. So the anchor here would be my candlesticks and candlestick holder. They have the most impactful scale, at least to my eye. The other items that I do have on my coffee table, I like to call supporting objects because they're of different scales. Obviously, there's books and candles, but then there's also a plant that has some really sculptural elements to it. So the bottom line is, mix it up, try out different things, and it's really a trial and error situation. So just kind of try everything and then see what you like the best. And I know that sounds very annoying for me to say, but it's really a case by case situation. So just try and have some patience, and nothing needs to look perfect immediately. There's always going to be an awkward stage. You're not always going to have every single thing to make your shelf look perfectly cohesive. So the next thing I find really important in styling decor is displaying contrasting objects together. And like I said before, obviously a variance of scale, but also in materials, color tones, shapes, all of that. So for example, if you have a metal coffee table, maybe go for some wooden candlestick holders or some kind of wooden paperweight to put on top of it to kind of equal things out a little bit. Or if you have very visually soft decor, maybe go for something a little bit more structured, balance it out. It's really about this yin and yang of decor pieces that really makes for the most visually interesting and visually appealing spaces. And something I just wanted to note is that when it comes to materials, make sure you consider the materials of whatever furniture item you're trying to style. If it's a shelf or a side table or a coffee table, make sure you consider, for example, if you have a chrome side table, maybe put some decor on top of it that's not so shiny. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is probably the most important thing and the number one rule that I take into account when styling decor, and that is embracing negative space. As you can see behind me, obviously, I'm sure you're kind of getting at what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to leave things empty. Personally, something that I love to do is play with empty space to really create a striking visual when it comes to a piece of decor that you really love. If you notice behind me, I'm sitting in my living room right now. There's no art on the wall. There's none of that. And I have one really large art piece in my living room above my couch. And the reason why I don't have any other art on the wall is because I want your eyes to be going to that because I really love it. And I want it to be striking when you walk in. And this is not to say leave every single surface blank, but something that I also love about this is that you don't need to have a lot of decor to style it. And taking this into account is really important because it does prevent things from looking cluttered. Too often, I see people shoving a ton of things onto the surface of a coffee table, a side table, and they're like, why doesn't my decor look nice? Why doesn't it feel styled? And it's because it's getting lost in the sea of decor. So I would say take taking a more minimalist approach when it comes to this is probably the best idea if you want to have a more eclectic look. Obviously, if you have a more maximalist design style, this probably doesn't apply to you, so you can kind of disregard this tip, but if you want to create these striking visual vignettes, I would say this is very important. This is what really helps to make a space feel curated and designed. The next thing I want to talk about is repetition of objects. And I know what you're saying. Cooper, weren't you just talking about variants of objects? But yes, okay, so what I mean here is you still want your objects to follow some kind of relation. So let's take a bookshelf, for example. So if you have a lot of empty shelves that you want to fill up, you can do so with ceramics, and that can be your form of repetition. So you can have spaced out ceramics, and you don't necessarily need a lot of them, but they will look cohesive because you know what? They're ceramics. And I would say if you're styling a bookshelf or a very linear flat shelf that's relatively long, I would say make sure you stick to equidistant placement like behind me instead of clustering objects together. Another way that you can do repetition is through accents, so it can be brass or chrome, or you can do it through color tones. So this would be warmer tones or cooler tones, or woods, things like that. So what you're kind of trying to go for is like visual difference, but categorically similar, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm saying a little bit of mumbo jumbo here in regards to how you guys are going to understand this, but you want things to be related, but not necessarily identical. The next thing I want to talk about is depth. What I mean here is placing objects behind other objects to kind of create this more layered effect. I find that this is really great for, if you have small artwork that you want to put on display, you can put it in the back of a bookshelf or the back of a shelf or leaned up against the wall behind some other decor, and I would say 70% of the time it'll look good. If you have a more maximalist design style, this is probably the way you should go rather than spacing things out. So you would kind of overlap objects so your eye doesn't stop at a specific visual plane. Okay, so now we've changed locations and you're probably wondering, what am I doing here? Yes, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a demonstration on what I mean by making all these points so you can get a little bit of a better idea about what I'm talking about here. Okay, so what do we have, right? We have my wooden entry table. We've got, a piece of art that I've hung there. How are we gonna style this? Right when you walk into my apartment, what are we gonna do here, right? So the first thing that I really need in this space is a lamp because I don't want to have the overhead light on all the time, and I think it would just really help add some warmth. All right, great. So now we've got this lamp from Zara Home. I love this lamp. It's really nice. It's got this really thin sculptural element to it, and so it has a lot of height to it, right? And so now this side is feeling a little bit short in regards to the rest of the space, so I think doing something a little bit taller for this side would kind of help even it out so the lamp doesn't feel so striking and out of place here because of its height. It also feels like there's a little bit of lacking on this side because we have got the art piece here and the lamp, so there's not much to look at over here, right? Now, as you can see, I added in this really beautiful pothos plant. This has a pretty tall pot, and it's got a post in the middle of it that the plant's growing up, so it kind of helps to take down the scale of the lamp a little bit over here and provide some visual balance to this vignette. This plant also serves as kind of a spatial barrier between the area where I have my mirror over here and the area where I have my console table. So with this, I would say, great. If you just move into your apartment, this is perfect. You don't need anything else out on the console table until you get some more stuff for your place, because obviously decor isn't the most important thing to buy immediately. If you have a console table, a lamp, and a plant, there you go. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on books and other decorative items. So if you just moved in somewhere, stop here and wait until later to do the next steps. For us people that have lived in our apartments or homes for a second, now we need to figure out, okay, so what are we gonna do here? And though it's not super designy of me to say, this is a space that is practical for me personally. This is right when you walk into the house, and so I need this to also serve a functional purpose besides just holding up a lamp and a plant, right? Right here, I have my catch-all bowl, which just has some keys and mints and my wallet and whatever whatever else I need to grab before I run out the door. This has to go here, and though I don't love to look at my keys every single day, it is part of life and you need to have your keys out, you know what I mean, so you don't lose them. I seriously don't know where these Pinterest people put all their stuff because, where's your keys, guys? Okay, so now we've got some blank space here. It looks great like this, but if you have, some extra books or something, this is a great place to display them. I have a really great photography book that has 1,000 different photographers and all of their photos and then a huge description of each one, and it's super interesting. I love to look at it. I love to flip through it. I have pages marked on it. It's special to me. So personally, I think that it would go really nice out on this table just so I can see it when I walk in and have something interesting to look at, because obviously I love this plant, I love this lamp, don't love the keys, but besides the point. There isn't anything here that's particularly sentimental to me. Now we have the book here, and yeah, see, it gives a little bit more visual interest. It brings my eye to something that I love when I walk in, which is always great. And I really love coffee table books for the reason that they can provide pops of color in places that are very easy to change out or mix up if you get tired of them. So this book has 1,000 different photographers, so there's so many different colors going on in here, and I just love to have it out and have different pops of color. I hope this whole situation here helped explain what I was talking about a little bit better, but as you can see now, we have a little bit more of a visually cohesive space in regards to things. We've got the scale of the artwork, we've got the scale of the plant, and we've got the scale of the lamp that are all different, and then we've got some practical things like my catch-all, and then just a little fun thing like a book. I've got varying heights, colors, and textures in here that really help make it feel, warm and homey, in my personal opinion. Okay, that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was at least a little bit helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about anything, drop them in the comments. You can always send me a DM on Instagram, and if you need help designing your space, you can book a consultation with me, and maybe I can sign you as a client and help you with whatever you need. So, as always, you can find me on Instagram at Cooper Osinski Interiors, and you can visit my website, cooperosinski.com, to find my email where you can send me an email, book a consultation with me. I also wanted to let you guys know that I'm working on a very fun project for you that will be arriving in, late May, early June. I'm going to be curating a selection of pieces for you guys to shop, so that's very, very exciting, and I hope you guys have a great Sunday or whatever day you're watching this, and yeah, bye!